prayer and pledge allegiance. Ruby, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Sure.
And Roger, would you lead us in the pledge allegiance, please? Okay.
Dear Father, thank you for giving us another opportunity to meet. Thank you for giving us another year. Please be with each and every one here. Help us to act like adults. And dear Lord, I know that you love each and every one of us. You have each one of us here for a reason. Please bless this community, this town. I just thank you, dear God, for prayer and for life. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. First or second item on the agenda is Mr. Bruce Patterson, Clerk of Courts of Rockbridge County. Bruce, you're on the agenda
Okay,
to do your thing.
Mr. Mayor, you need to stand and raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as mayor of the town of Glasgow, Virginia, according to the best of your abilities, so help you God.
I will.
Good.
Want to use your pen?
Yeah. Thank goodness there's no more for a while.
Reverend Kilgore is not here tonight. He's sick as a dog. I don't know if he has the flu or what. So I have his oath, and I will give it to him. He will run over to the courthouse and get sworn in sometime in the future.
Excuse my back. That's okay. Other two newly elected members of town council, please stand and raise your right hand. You and each of you solemnly swear you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as members of Glasgow Town Council, according to the best of your abilities, so help you God. Good. You sign your oath. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bruce. Good to see you, Bruce. Appreciate it very much. We now have a quorum. Madam Mayor, it's your meeting. Call to order.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order for our public hearing. We have two.
Could I ask a question before we start? Mayor, it is Mayor Clark, right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. I got one question for Jane. I heard the name of this book thrown around, and then I noticed we have a problem getting the minutes on the computer. I only had half October to November, December's. If you got on your desk for dummies, the same book, and if you look in there, you don't, I know part of the old ones, you try to record word for word. Well, if you read this book, you don't have to record any discussion of personal opinion in that. Pardon me?
I don't do word for word.
Well, in October, it was word for word what I said and what Billy Wells said. And November and December is not on the web page yet. And question, Mayor Clark, and I have a hard time setting it. Is there a reason to move the public comment period down to the bottom? Couldn't we have it after the public hearing? Is there a reason to make it that late in the meeting?
We made it that late so we can get business done first. And we had to have a quorum to start the meeting.
Well, Mayor, it's always been the case that first, if you wanted to come and make a comment, you go home. If you didn't want to listen to all the rest, is that not business? We could not have public opinion first?
Well, if you want to make a public comment, you have to get permission from council. You have to ask me to speak, and then they have to vote to give you permission.
If I don't want to wait to the bottom, right?
No, when you get to public comment.
You got to request council permission to talk.
Right.
Yes.
All right, where is this coming from? This is all on you. I thought we could come in and talk.
No, if you pull out 2-27.
Well, don't quote numbers out of what?
Out of the code. Help me out here, Sergeant Britton.
Mayor, who's running the meeting?
The mayor is. She can answer it for you.
All right.
She's in charge.
Okay,
She can cite the code and et cetera. I don't have it.
I don't have it from
okay.
But we're gonna get on with the public hearing, Mr. Walker.
Okay, if she's running the meeting, I'd like to understand why we gotta wait that long for public comment. Mayor?
because he said, since
He said,
Mr. Parker stressed to me that since we have so much business, that he would prefer to have that first. And actually, we don't have to have public comment period at all.
all right, let's move on.
Okay, do we have two public hearings? The first one is the public hearing to receive comments, thank you, Madam Mayor. To consider adoption of proposed resolution authorizing the issuance of a bond by the town of Glasgow not exceed 3.7 million to be sold to VRA to pay capital costs for the water improvement project. I have a copy of that resolution. Will, I think I have 4 copies here. This is the closing documents for the bond, and this is the resolution. I have 4 copies, if anybody likes to look at them. We have to have a motion to adopt this resolution, and then it's signed by myself and the mayor, and I think, Will, you take one back to Mr. Simons, right? And if there's any questions, it was advertised in the paper December 24th and the 31st. It talks about that, said that this resolution has been at town hall since then. And the financing documents was given to town council in the December meeting, if you guys remember. It's the same thing, it's filled in. The draft was given to council in December. I think we didn't have a motion then, but now we need a motion to adopt this resolution by town council. I'll pass these 4 around. Two over there can look. You guys can look at the resolution. And if you have any questions, here's the resolution, Madam Mayor. If you have any questions on that financing document in the public, this is a public hearing, or anything on the financing document, he has to ask Mr. Hancock. Is it Will Hancock?
Yes.
Yeah. He's more familiar with it. It's the closing documents for the bond attorney for us to finance our package, our capital project for water. And this is a public hearing for comments on this resolution. If you like a copy, if you want to look at the resolution and financing documents, you're welcome to it. And if you can understand it, it would be more power to you.
Paul, I have a question.
If you want to comment on the financing documents and stuff, there's a sign-up sheet, Linda, right there for this specific. You'll see one for the financing document and a sign-up sheet for the FONSI, which we'll get to next. We will. We'll make a motion probably down at the bottom. But this is just a public hearing.
Right, there's no motion.
There's no motion. We'll need a motion when we award down here on D on new business.
Okay.
Michael and Robert.
That's what I thought.
Linda, do you have some questions on the
Hey, I just
financing?
have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Has the people in Glasgow, been advised that they're gonna be responsible for all leakage from the site of where the town is gonna be adding all the new hookups and meters to their house if there is a leakage in their house or in their structure? Has the town people have been notified that that's gonna be their obligation?
Specifically, when we mailed out the letters back in the fall, we talked about the added pressure and recommended we do add a, what is that called, an expansion tank.
Pressure
And
reducer
Pressure
valve.
reduction.
Pressure reduction valve, expansion tank, because we believe the pressure is gonna be higher. From the meter to the house has always been the owner's responsibility
Right.
forever,
But I mean, once we go on meters, it's a
Right.
leak
right?
that we, you know what the town knows
We
it's
hope
leaking.
to, when we finish this, which is March of 2015, hopefully that's be substantial completion, and then final in April of 2015. We'll have new, we'll have electronic meters in for everybody, and it'll be touch read, and it'll be computer. We're gonna send out, we talked about this at our public hearing, we're gonna send out 2 or 3 dry bills. In other words, we're gonna stay flat rate for 2 or 3 more months, so that everyone will see what their bill's gonna be and their usage.
So it's still at least 2 months
Oh,
notice
at least,
given?
we're probably two or three months
2
of
to 3
dry bills,
months.
Linda.
Okay, that's
It shows
fine.
that you're using 10,000 gallons and you got a leak, and so,
And I guess,
go ahead, Roger.
to answer part of your question, I think your question is, does everybody know that from point A to point B is their responsibility?
Right.
And I think probably maybe in the first letter that really didn't totally address that. We did
Yeah.
have 2 public hearings that basically nobody came to.
Well, exactly.
That they could have asked questions and got the input for what was going on. I think probably at some point, as a working in progress, we probably should send out a letter to everybody stating kind of, here it is, what to them, this is what's out. And that could be addressed in that.
I think it
Even
should
part of the
be.
town code section that says from here, this code says it's your responsibility. I think that's something maybe we need to do going forward over the next 3, 4, 5 months.
Because they know how much money the town is going to be getting as far as a grant, and also how much they're going to spend. But they fail to think that they're going to have to eat up some costs too.
And we need to kind of give them a progress report as to what's going on with this too, I think, so.
Yeah.
Once we have these dry runs, you'll know if you have leakage.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
find out.
I mean, it's been all these years.
Yeah.
Most of these houses are 1960s and back, so a lot of them. So it's going to be leaks.
Oh, yeah, and toilets and the whole bit.
Okay. Roger, can I speak to you?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody just found out about it, because I got an advertisement from somewhere in Baltimore for $51 a month. They'll pay up to $5,000 to fix it from the town's line into the house. $51 a month.
That come off the internet, somebody knew we were getting.
Yeah,
they
somebody
do.
knows we're getting it.
I'd pay that.
Thank you, Roger.
Yes, sir, Lee.
Do I have to sign the thing if I have a question?
If you want to talk about the financing document and the project, yes, sir,
Well, it's not the financing document per se, it's related to that,
to the project.
yes.
Yeah, please.
Has anyone made an estimate of how much cost there will be to the citizens of Glasgow because of this new thing? I mean, not in terms of the bond issue, but in terms of having to put in these auxiliary tanks, having to put all these things. I mean, that's something that hasn't really been talked about. It seems to me that there could be quite a bit of expense involved in that, and it seems like it should be known or at least looked at, because there are a lot of people here that are gonna end up having to pay for this.
Correct. Roger and Sonny, when we held, go ahead.
We sent out contractors that you could contact.
So we gave some estimated costs
Estimated costs,
on that
yeah.
letter for expansion tanks, if that's the cost you're talking about. Is that what you're talking about, Lee?
Yes, but it just doesn't seem like it's being recognized as these are costs that are gonna be imposed on you, that we haven't really, I mean, to me, that was a surprise. I didn't know I was gonna have to pay extra money. I thought we were gonna get the water system, be part of a bond issue, but it looks like there's gonna be other things, and I don't know how many people realize that, that's all.
And I think maybe just that layer of clarity might help some of that, because I think in most locations, the municipal system is up to point A, and then the homeowners is from their own, most places. Maybe we just need to clarify that a little bit, because that's kind of the question, somebody's got a bunch of old stuff, it's got a lot of leaks, they're gonna have to fix all that stuff, and that's basically on them, once this project gets finished and you go to read meters, if you don't wanna pay a huge bill. But, I think that's kind of the standard, maybe we just need over time to let that information be out there a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not objecting to the cost, I'm just saying it should be, it just seems like it should be made clear that it's a burden on people.
What about the 30-some abandoned houses and buildings and trailers? Is there water, I'm sure there's no leakage at those, going to those?
I guess if it's either cut off or cut on, I don't know. That's a good question, I guess.
They're off.
If they're cut off, I
They're
guess then
off.
there's
The
no
meter.
water.
If they're on, somebody else turned them on, because I make sure a couple times a year that everything's off, it's abandoned,
Thank
it's empty.
you.
Those meters won't be going back in. They're not, we didn't provide taps for the places that are empty or trailer places that have been moved. They'll have to, so those won't even be hooked to the system.
Any other comments on a water project or the financing documents? second one.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 7:15. Now we'll move into our regular meeting.
Second public hearing. We have another
Oh,
public hearing.
okay, I'm sorry, B part.
B part. This is Madam Mayor, this is a public hearing to receive comments, which I have a copy of the issuance of a finding of no significant impact, a FONSI, for a project funded through the Virginia's Water Supply Revolving Fund. So that was also issued in the paper. The health department wrote that. They put it in the paper, I believe the same dates, 24th and the 31st. And I have a copy of that FONSI here, if anybody wants to see it. It was published, the entire FONSI was published in the paper, and the health department's a requirement to do that. And the comments for this, if you want to make comments, please sign up on the sheet, and the comments go back to the Office of Drinking Water in Richmond on the FONSI. Oh, I have the whole FONSI here, but I may not. I have the FONSI from the newspaper. Oh, there it is, which came straight from the health department. Here is the original FONSI, which was published in the newspaper. If anybody would like to look at it, I have it here. And make comments on the finding of no significant impact from our environmental assessment that we did. I'm going to read what the health department wrote. You don't have to write this. Persons may comment in writing to the health department's, Virginia State Health Department, on the proposed decision within 30 days from the date of first publication, which is December 24th. Comments shall include the name, address, and telephone number of the writer and shall contain a complete, concise statement of the factual basis for the comments. Only those comments received within this period will be considered by the department, the State Health Department. So it was published December 24th. Comments can be received by the State Health Department until January 24th. So if anybody wants to speak on the FONSI, please sign in, and you can mail your comments or you can write them. And we can forward them to the health department for you, or you can mail them straight to the health department in the address that's in the FONSI. Any comments on the FONSI? Going once, going twice? Madam Mayor, you can close the public hearing.
Okay, now we'll close the public hearing at 7:17. Now we'll move into the regular meeting. First, consideration of the bills.
Skip number 4.
We go ahead and make a motion to approve, pay the bills.
Oh, we did miss number 4.
Well, we can go back there.
I did, I
Okay.
missed it.
You want to go ahead and consider the bills?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Since
and then we
just
go back
had
to
one.
number 4.
I make a motion to pay the bills and then bills that come in for the month.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, now we'll review the minutes from the last meeting.
Number 4.
Yes.
Is there extra copy available?
The minutes of December? No.
Because November, December, they ain't on the internet. Well, in December, they ain't supposed to be. Y'all approve.
comments? Any corrections?
Roger, Mike, Sonia.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for December meeting.
Do I hear a second? All in favor? Say aye. Opposed? Okay, the minutes stand approved. Now, committee and commission reports. I think we only had one meeting for the month, was Community Watch.
Yes,
I'm sorry, you said Community Watch?
yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
You all should have, in your packets, the bylaws were approved.
Yes,
They are in there.
they are.
They are.
They're with the police activity report.
We're planning, 3 fundraisers, a softball tournament, May 16, 17, 18, a gospel singing, which we're trying to get a date for that at Community Center, and a talent show at Natural Bridge Elementary School in April. Working on National Night Out, the 2nd annual one. That's the first Tuesday in August. And then last year we had it at Glenmore Park. This year we're gonna have it here at the field. I've been working on,
Say that again, Rebecca.
last year was at Glenmore Park and this year it's gonna be here.
National Night Out.
Mhm.
Do you have a date for that?
It's the first Tuesday in August, right?
Is it gonna be a joint effort again this year too?
Yeah, I'm contacting all the fire and rescue and law enforcement in the county and we're gonna start planning.
Same coordination, just different, okay.
Yeah. Mhm. Trying to get some sponsorships and vendors this year as well. Last year it was, we just didn't have enough time to do that kind of thing, so this year we want to do that.
August 5th, I gather.
August 5th, yeah. In December, we had a toy drive, which was very successful. Sergeant Britton and I, we were able to collect enough toys to help 121 children that are served at the food pantry. We sent out thank you notes to the businesses and nonprofits that donated to that. And next year, we're hoping to do that as well as maybe a bike drive for the kids here. We're trying to increase our membership. We sent a letter to all the churches asking them if they wanted to come to our next meeting. I'm gonna be going to the businesses around here and asking them to come to our meeting as well. And we were looking for a way to send out letters to all the households in Glasgow. I don't know expense-wise if we're gonna be able to do that or not. And then we're working on doing some trainings next also. Anyone have any questions about Community Watch or anything we're doing? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
You all should have the police report in your packets for the month. If December was a size for the toy drive and community watch was relatively quiet month. It will see on their admin, on the police report, 3 days of admin. That was the days that I was in the office, manning the office because of vacation time and holiday time people were taking off. And some of you may have heard of, I can't think of the lady's name. Miss Catherine O'Connor had a home invasion the weekend before Christmas. I know there was some concern in the community about it. Subject was arrested by me Monday, yesterday. He was arrested and charged. He has no bond. He is sitting in jail. If there are no questions. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move to old business. The resolution to adopt the revision of chapter 6 and 14 of the town code as presented.
Yes, ma'am. Council, for new members, this was a long and arduous process. The Water and Sewer Committee met several times during the summer and fall. Roger was the chairman of that committee. We redid chapter 6 and 14 of the code. Took us 6 to 8 months, I believe, something like that. Went through 4 or 5, this is revision 5. We advertised this in the paper for a public hearing in the December meeting, if I remember correctly. So we had a public hearing in the December meeting for comments to this. And tonight, I have copies. If anybody wants to see chapter 6 and 14, we need a motion to adopt chapter 6 and 14 as presented.
Just advise them what 6 and 14 chapter is.
Thank you, Roger.
What we're actually redoing. Not specifics, just what the.
Go right ahead. I'll let you do that, Roger.
Actually, chapter 6 of the town code is finance and taxation, which covers everything from taxes to all the new water rates and everything to do with water billing, tap fees and everything. So it's kind of up to date to where we are today. So this one, all the numbers kind of match, so everything is up to what we're actually charging. Chapter 14 was sewer and sewer disposal, which covers everything about the sewer systems, treatment plant, taking in sewage from outside agencies. And this one, basically, Jeff did a whole lot of that work. We worked together, so, let's thank him for helping put part of that sewage and sewage disposal chapter together. So these are 2 big chapters in the total town code. It's probably the only 2 that's totally up to date, today. So hopefully, we finish these and we can work on a couple more in 2014.
Anybody like to see them? I need a motion to adopt.
I make a motion to adopt.
Chapter 6 and 14 as presented.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, anyone opposed?
Thank you very much.
Do we all get copies?
Yes.
Did you get copies of those?
Yes, they're in the book, Roger, and I have yours here.
It's in the code. It's in, came in your packet.
I didn't get one.
Mr. Duke,
White notebook.
You didn't get a white notebook?
Do I want to tonight?
right?
Council, Mr.
I
Duke
got my own
has a question on the code. Mr.
Mr.
Duke,
Duke has a question.
do you guys want to recognize Mr. Duke?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not even in the skies or anything. I just wondered, are you gonna put this up on the web, and if so, what's the approximate timeframe, that's all? That changed code?
Yes. Approximate timeframe. We thought we would get everything straight last week. We switched IT companies. It was a long process. They now have access to our website, our domain, which is through GoDaddy. They got that yesterday, I believe. It was hard getting the information that we had given the old IT company, which is out of Stanton. BTMI is the company we had, and we switched to, they were not customer oriented. We had trouble with them. They were not responsive when we needed them. So we didn't have a contract with them. We just decided not to, we wrote them a letter and decided we're not to do business with them anymore. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. In the meantime, the new IT company, which is Computer Doctor in Fairfield, started to work right after Christmas or right before Christmas to help us transition from all the old IT stuff